Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Cheong. I'm the founder of Magical Light Foundation. Every year, I have many ongoing projects to build schools, bring humanitarian aids, and health programs to as many as a few hundred villages across 8 countries in Asia. In Myanmar itself, I have 25 schools and a medical center. Every year, more than 10,000 of these underprivileged children, villages, have benefited from my program. Today, I'm not here to talk about my charity work or my stand on compassion. I'm here to tell you about my experience and what I learned during my experience. The power of withholding judgment. I think all of us, from our background, from our upbringing, from our education, we are taught or we have just adjusted to make some notion of what is right and wrong in our daily life, society at large. Today, I'm going to tell you something very different. If you can withhold your judgment, you may be able to see a different perspective. This is the perspective I'm talking about today. I'm sure many of you will feel that children working in a sweatshop across the world, places like India, China, Brazil, Mexico, and many other countries, are wrong. I'm a founder of a charity that helps children with education. I'm totally against it. I just came back from India last week. I went there on a mission to study the street children in the slum. The official figure is 20 million. The unofficial figure is 40 million. I had the opportunity to meet an Indian doctor, who is also a lecturer, and she shared with me a different side of the story. She told me there are many NGOs from the West, European countries, Americas, that are fighting and campaigning with the Indian government, manufacturers, NGOs, and multinational company to stop child labor. She highlighted to me, I didn't know this, that this country in the West, in the 30s, in the 20s, they all employed child labor. Today, they think that is wrong. Do they really understand the root of the problem? Are they on the ground to study? There are many different opinions on what is right or wrong. Are they right to make this judgment? Do you or do they think that by getting these children out of the sweatshop equate to them being in school or having a better life? The doctor continued to tell me, many of these children may be the sole breadwinner for the family, or maybe they are surviving on their own without the support of family working in the sweatshop. So by getting them out of the sweatshop, it only means they'll be back on the street begging, petty theft, maybe even prostitution. So why are the West thinking that sweatshop is so wrong? Her question to me. In her opinion, the solution is actually to campaign with the government for this sweatshop manufacturers to provide a better working condition, shorter working hours, a conducive, safe environment, and most important, to let these children go to school before after work. I was amazed with her explanation because I'm against it initially, but now I think I'm wrong because I don't have a solution for the problem. She came out with an option that I think is justifiable. So it's about my judgment. Is it right or wrong to say that no, I think sweatshop is wrong to have child labor? I'm not here to convince you that it is right for children to be working in sweatshop. I'm asking you to do not have any notion, presumption, or assumption to find a solution. This is the slum I visited. Over the years, being a foundation, I conduct a lot of CSR. CSR is corporate social responsibility. I bring up to 50 volunteers. All these volunteers are head of department, key position holder, or professionals. I bring them to remote villages, orphanage, migrant camp, refugee camp, for a few days. They came knowing that they are there to help, because they raised a large sum of money for this trip, whether to build a school or sport facility for these places I'm bringing them to. So they came with a slight dash of Messiah attitude, that I'm here to help them. But after this trip, they realized they're not here just to help, they're here to learn. After the mission, I will always ask every one of them to write a reflection. Almost 95% of the reflection says something very similar. They learned on this trip. What they learned? Joy is simple. Happiness has no affiliation to your bank account. They saw their childhood, their own childhood, that their own children do not have. They saw that friendship bonding is very simple. There's no expectation. They learn a lot. Because with the presumption that they had earlier that they're going there to help, they dropped everything, all of the assumption, and realized that they actually there to learn a lot. Everybody told me that this mission is a life-changing experience for all of them, because they learned. If they did not, if they hold on to the Messiah attitude that they are to help, would they have learned anything? I think 8 years ago, I was in Cambodia, in a very small town. I saw a beggar. I took out some money and gave it to the beggar. My friend who was with me reprimanded my action. He said, "What are you trying to do?" This guy looked like he's only in his 30s, a mere begging. Am I encouraging begging is correct? Am I telling him that begging is a way of life? I said, no, but I cannot speak the language. I'm not there to interview him. I don't know his problem. For all I know, he could be having some sickness that will prevent him from getting a regular job. Maybe the little money I just gave him can buy some medicine for his mother. Maybe the money I just gave him can buy some food for his children for the first meal of the day. I have many more questions. I have no answer. So why do I think I'm the judge? All I saw was the few dollars I gave him brought a smile to his face. And I hope that with these few dollars, he can pass the day, and maybe tomorrow he can look for a job. I'm not a judge, and I don't pretend to one. I have visited many orphanages across Asia. Each of these orphanages or children's homes have more than a few hundred children. It's only when I visited them I realized that only 20% of these so-called orphanages children are orphaned, which means that the rest of the 80% have parents. Why they end up in the orphanage? Because the parents are so poor and felt that the only chance for the children to have 3 square meals, warm clothing, and a decent education is to be in an orphanage. Are we right to judge why does parents do that, giving up the children to orphanage? Why they give birth in the first place? We do not have all the answer. There are many people told me because this country is an agricultural country. Having more children means having more wealth because they are on a farm. But what happened? I do not know. Why they end up orphanage? I do not know. But I know that I have no right to judge the parents because we do not understand the torment of giving up the children to orphanage. Whether they will see the children again one day. A few years back, I was in Vietnam, also visited another orphanage. Today, this orphanage is no more orphanage, it's just a day shelter. What happened to them? Initially, when it started off, there's many street children in Vietnam. So this foreign NGO from the West gathered all the children, started an orphanage, put them in the orphanage. First few months was fine. After that, they realized that children start running away in the night, climbing over the fence. They worried. But after a few days, these children came back. Later, when they analyzed and studied the problem, they realized that these kids are more comfortable on the street. So today, this orphanage has become a day shelter. And most important, they actually has a counseling section for this kid to help them. This kid basically are more comfortable with the friend on the street. What they need is food for the day, maybe a library for them to study, a place to shower, and of course, if there is a counseling session for them to make them understand what they're doing with their life, is more important. And it hopefully can put some of these kids into vocational institute for them to learn a skill. I think all of you would remember the earthquake last year in Nepal. This is one of the schools I visited. I was there 2 weeks after the earthquake. I have experienced many aftershock while I was there, even earthquake. This guy, the pilot of my helicopter, died during a mission 2 weeks after I left. I was there to help a particular village. 1 year earlier, I actually contributed funds to build a medical center in this particular village. So I was a bit emotionally attached. I want to go back to help this village. This village has 1,677 houses. When I was there, 1,677 houses have collapsed. The only building standing was the medical center that I built earlier. I felt sorry for these people. I felt the pain. I felt the devastation. I was very sad. I was there a few days. I did what I was supposed to do, to give out the funds, medical relief, food, and tarpaulins, torchlight, whatsoever. On the last day, the day I was supposed to leave, early in the morning, a Nepalese boy by the name of Sri Krishna, came up to me. He said, "Uncle Ben, can you come to my house for breakfast?" Without giving a second thought, I got up, I followed him. Reaching his house, almost reaching his house, he turned around with a big smile and looked at me. He said, "Uncle Ben, I got no house now. My house is just a shed." But he was smiling, he was happy. Why was I feeling sad for him? Because I have a judgment. I think they should be sad there because they are in this state. But I was wrong. They are very resilient. They live life very positively. I learned from them during this trip that in any situation, if you have a positive attitude, you can still stay happy. This is about water and electricity. I have been to hundreds of villages. Most of these villages do not have electricity or running water. For us, a flip of the switch, a light is on. A turn on the tap, we have water. And initially, I felt the sadness of the poverty. But am I right again? They have learned to live without this luxury. Who am I to say that, no, they are living in poverty? Unless I can bring electricity, running water to these villages, again, I have no right to judge. In fact, I should envy them because I cannot survive without running water and electricity. This is during an opening ceremony of one of my schools. As I say, I have 25 schools in Myanmar alone. I have other schools in other countries. The very first school that I built and was completed was 7 years ago. I flew to Yangon from Singapore. I was met by my interpreter. My interpreter told me something, that the village is going to have a very big celebration to welcome me. I was very sad and disappointed. I'm there to help because they're so poor. Why do they want to waste good money throwing a big party? I said, I don't need it. Why are they doing it? Then he told me the reason why they need a big celebration is because they want to remember the person that gave them hope. The person who gave them hope so that the children can have a future. The second message from the same interpreter was, if the village chief has a message for me. The message was, he has waited for me for 30 years. My eyes turned watery straight away. Because I think education should be free for everybody. Why he have to wait for 30 years for somebody to appear to help him build? I'm going to end with explaining to you the example I give is all about judgment. We have, because of our background, our study and everything else, we have assumption, notion, presumption, judgment about everything. If we can withhold all this, we can have a bigger perspective of understanding and better solution. Whatever we feel that we know is just an option. Thank you.